Hey everyone, and welcome to
Isms by Josie.
Today we're going to be doing a crafter square kit that I got from the Dollar Tree. For my returning subscribers, thank you so much for tuning in. And for my new viewers, please consider subscribing, share, hit that like button, leave a comment below, and click on that notification bell for future videos. So today, you guys, this is a viewer request. I've done this video previously, but today we're going to be doing it in Lefty. If there's any requests that you have, leave a comment below. If you don't want to wait for me to find the kit, go ahead and send me a clear image of the instructions, and my contact information is either in the video description or on my about page on my channel. Okay, so this has been long awaited. I was trying to get this into the mix. We're in October now, and you know, I did an unboxing and I have a lot of Halloween and fall kits that I'm going to get through, but today I'm probably going to post 2 videos, and this is going to be one of them. The other one, I think we're going to go back to my fall Halloween kits. But yeah, I had to get this done, so let's get to this. This is just a supplement to this kit. If you would like to do this kit, I would recommend trying to find this kit at your local Dollar Tree. These kits are really hard to find, by the way. So I'm going to be using my own materials because I've already done this kit before. If you need to speed up or slow down the video, click on the gear button in the corner. There's playback options to go fast or slow. If you don't need to hear me talking, lower the volume on your device and click on the CC closed caption button. Real quick, you guys, I wanted to throw in that my original channel is doing a special NFL giveaway. It's fairly simple. I wanted to share it with you guys because the giveaway winner will be receiving a bunch of goodies, a gift card, and a 1-hour one-on-one session through StreamYard. You can Google what that is, but it's pretty much using your phone to display an area just like this, and you can show me the projects that you're working on that you need help with. If you don't need crochet or knitting help, I'm also helping one-on-one with a for those that are thinking about starting a channel, or for those that are currently running a channel and might need some help on that, or at least some insight. So I thought that that would be valuable to you guys, and you can redeem that hour, you know, indefinitely. You don't have to use it right away. So yeah, I'll leave the link from my original channel in the description box below, along with the rules. You do have to become a public subscriber, and I post those videos every Tuesday, and I close the voting at the end of Wednesday Eastern Time. It's going to be an 18-week rolling giveaway, so there's plenty of chance for you to get caught up and to beat whoever is currently ahead. I'll be picking 2 winners, 1 nail winner, 1 craft winner, and at the end of the 18 weeks, if there is a tie, I will be throwing them into a spinner and select names randomly from that. Alright, so let's get started. In this kit, you'll be getting a plastic needle, some yarn stuffing, crochet hook, and plastic beads. Again, I don't have this, it's empty now, but I'm going to be using my own materials. I won't be displaying the instructions for copyright reasons, and I won't be going through everything step by step. So I will be doing new stitches at least 3 times step by step, and then I'll be doing the rest at my normal pace. Again, you can speed up or slow down the video. And then if we stumble upon some sections that might need a little bit extra, like reading over, because these instructions are not for beginners, you guys. They're very complicated. And the new kits that they have out there, it just got worse. So unfortunately, if you are stuck with this kit, I hope that in some way I can help you out with this. Alright, so let's get started. We're going to be working with a white, so hopefully I have enough, but I think I should. So let me find the end of this here. Right? Yeah, it's pretty. Ooh, it's even broken. Alright. Okay, so in this kit they give you a really flimsy crochet hook, and it is a 3.5 millimeter. It's embossed on here, so you have to have really good eyes to see it. In the past, I don't know if this kit did have it, but in the past their kits came with a stitch marker. I highly recommend getting these markers. They definitely help you out. So if you can, go to a hobby store or online and get yourself a packet of these. These are all from the kits that I've saved. So always save your tools. You never know if you're going to need it. So it's going to come in really good. It's going to be really handy. I just lost my English there. And I'll show you why once we get to that spot in the instructions. Alright, so let's start with the panda head. So we're going to be working with the magic ring, and the magic ring, all it is you start with a huge ring with stitches and then you close it to where there's no hole in the middle. So let's do that. Alright, I gotta remember I'm doing this for lefty. So we're going to take our right hand and you're going to take your end of your yarn here and you're just going to wrap it around your finger 3 times. 1, 2, and then 3. You want to put a little bit of this yarn over your index because you want to take your middle finger and just hold it down like that. So from here you can straighten these out, tighten them up if they're a little too loose. If you don't want it too tight, you're going to have to slip your hook underneath these. I'm just situating my stuff here. Alright, so take your hook. Oh wow, I've been doing righties for so long, this feels so uncomfortable. I'm originally a lefty, by the way, so this is, it's awkward. Alright, so take your hook and slip it underneath the 3 strands here, like that. Okay, so now we're going to pull the hook back. I'm going to tilt it a little bit to hook this strand so that I can pull it underneath these 2 strands. So tilt your hook a little bit so that you don't catch the other 2. And we're going to slide this underneath the 2 strands. You can manipulate it if you need to. My yarn is made of cotton and I have lotion on my hands, so it's it's pretty not sticky, but you know what I mean. Alright, so you have something like this. Now what we're going to do is a yarn over, and a yarn over is basically taking your feeder yarn here and we're going to put it over the hook. So it's as simple as that. Yarn over. Now from here we're going to pull this yarn over through this loop. So let's do that now. Again, twist your hook so that you can fit it through the loop. But now that we've closed this, you can let go of your middle finger. And then you can slide these 2 loops off your index. So now we have something like this. So now we're going to take some feeder yarn and put it around your finger like this. What we're going to do now is start doing our single crochet stitches. Before we do that, we have to make a chain stitch. 1 chain stitch is going to make a height, it's going to make the height of the row. So I'll show you how to make a chain stitch. The chain stitch, by the way, is the most basic stitch in crocheting, and you can do so much with a chain stitch. Make bracelets, necklaces, stuff like that. A piece of rope to tie tapestry together, I don't know, but anyway. So to do a chain stitch, we're going to yarn over. Again, that's putting this feeder yarn over the hook like that. Then we're going to pull this strand through this loop just like that, and that's it. That's a chain stitch. So a chain stitch has 3 loops, 1 on the left, 1 on the right, and then you turn it on the side and then there's, I have to make it focus, let's see, there's a little hump in the back. So it's hard to focus right now, but let's do another one and I'll show you it. Alright, so let's do another chain stitch. You're going to yarn over, you're going to pull this strand through the loop, and now we have another chain stitch. So as you can see, we have two now. A loop on the left, a loop on the right. Let's turn this on its side, and you have a little hump. Yeah. And by the way, we're gonna take back two of these chains. I'm just teaching you how to do a chain stitch, so you at least, like I said, you'll see it 3 times from me, and then we're gonna move forward. So let's do this one more time. So we're gonna yarn over, that's putting the feeder yarn over the hook, and we're gonna pull this strand through the loop, and now we have 3 chains. Again, loop on the left, loop on the right, turn to the side, and you have a back loop or a hump. Alright, so now this is where you can clearly get mad at me, because you just need 1. I wanted to show you how to do 3. So I'm just going to remove my hook, and I'm going to slowly just remove 1 and remove 1 more. Make that loop disappear 2, and then you can stick your hook back in here because we just need the 1 chain. This that I just showed you is a good way to undo a stitch if you make a mistake, and you're going to need that down the road as well, which is why I also wanted to show you that. I mess up all the time. Sometimes I try to edit it out of the video, sometimes I don't. But if you mess up, you want to gently pull on the feeder yarn and remove stitch by stitch, one at a time, very slowly. If you are good, then by all means go fast, but you can accidentally remove a stitch that you don't want to remove. Plus, if you're also trying to count back, like we just did, the number of stitches you don't need, that's why you also want to pull slowly. Okay, so let's move forward. We did our knit stitch. Now we have to do our single crochet stitches, which is in our round 1 instruction. So let me teach you how to do a single crochet stitch in a magic ring. What we're going to do is stick our hook into these 2 loops. So stick that through the 2 loops. We're going to yarn over. You're going to pull this through those 2 loops. So now you have 2 loops on your hook. We're going to yarn over again, and you're going to pull through those 2 loops. And that's it. That's a single crochet stitch. So hopefully that was simple enough, but let's do this 2 more times. So again, into the magic ring, put in your hook. We're going to yarn over, and you're going to pull up a loop. So now you have 2 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over again, and you're going to pull through those 2 loops like that. So now we have 2 single crochet stitches. Let's do this one more time with you guys. Put your hook into the magic ring. We're going to yarn over, and you're going to pull up a loop. So you have 2 loops. Then you're going to yarn over again and pull through those 2 loops. So now we have 3 single crochet stitches in that chain stitch. Alright, so now I'm going to move on doing the remaining single crochet stitches required in round 1, and then I'm going to show you the next steps. Again, you can rewind the video until you feel comfortable doing these single crochet stitches on your own. Alright, so now that we're here, we have to now close our magic ring. So I'm going to remove my feeder yarn off my finger. We're holding our project like this. We have that little piece of the end of the yarn just sticking out like that. What you want to do now is just gently grip the stitches at the bottom of the ring. So here's the top, it's closest to the crochet hook. Let's gently grip the stitches at the bottom like this. You can hold your hook with your middle and index, and this side you can hold it with your thumb and ring finger. What we're going to do is pull this excess piece. What we're looking for is, once you pull this out, you want to see which one of these two loops goes inside first, because that's the one that we're going to pull out first. So grab your excess piece, gently pull, and then just pay attention to the loops going in. Okay, so I've identified this loop here to go in first. So we're going to pull that one out first. You want to pull from this bottom spot. You don't want to pull from the top. So nothing from the top, always from the bottom. All right, so let's grab this bottom part here of that loop and gently pull that out. If you have to go slow at first, that's fine. What you're going to start to see is the other loop start to disappear, which is exactly what we want. So keep pulling until that other loop is completely gone into the magic ring. All right, just like this. So it is now disappeared into the magic ring. We still have like this really tiny hole, but we have this huge loop here now and this excess piece. What I'm going to do now is pull the excess piece all the way out until this loop goes entirely in. So let's pull that now. All right, and once that's gone into the magic ring, there is a chance, like myself, where you might have a really tiny hole there. You can get rid of that. How to do that is we're going to pull in the opposite direction and a little up at like, I guess, a 45-degree angle. Doesn't have to be precise, but we're going to pull this a little bit more. You might need to put a little bit more elbow grease in it, but don't pull too tightly. Just try to feel for it and pay attention. There's just a little bit more that you can pull out. See, as you see my yarn moved a little bit, that will close off the hole entirely. So that's gone. Now what we have to do is close. So we close the hole. Now we have to close the round. So let me show you how to do that. Grab a little bit of this yarn, feeder yarn here. What you want to do is count back the number of stitches that you're supposed to do for round 1. And then you're going to stick your hook into that last stitch there, or it was technically the first, but counting back from your hook, right? Stick your hook into that stitch. Now, this light is so bright. You see how I'm sticking it? You want to put it through the braid. So each stitch looks like a little braid. You want to put it underneath those 2 loops right there. All right, so now we're going to do a slip stitch. So let me show you how to do that. And I can't show you that 3 times because we're only going to do it once, but I will show you how to do it again for the next 2 rounds. So don't worry about it. All right, so stick your hook into that stitch. We're going to do a slip stitch by yarning over, and we're going to pull through everything off your hook. So pull through that stitch we went through, and then the loop on your hook, and we've closed off the round. So it's a nice perfect, not perfect, but it's a nice circle. So what I said about the markers, you want to take a marker and you just want to slip it underneath the last stitch you made. So this is the last stitch we made. We're going to slip it under the braid here, and then we're going to close the marker, and this is going to indicate that we are now working on round 2. So for the most part, we'll just be removing this and replacing it with the next row. If you're really bad and you're not going to remember what round you're on, especially following this video, because that's kind of hard to lose your spot. But if you're really bad like that, you can get a bunch of these and just not take them off and take them off at the end. But what I'm going to be doing is putting it on for each round and removing it to the latest one that we finished. At some point, there's going to be multiple rounds in the instruction. You can see it down there below, starting at round 5. That one only has 2, but at some point maybe in the body, we're going to have to repeat it more than 2 times. You're going to need a bunch of these markers. So that's why I say get more than one of these. But for now, we're going to do round 2. So to do round 2, we're going to do our chain 1. So do your chain 1. Again, this is for the height. This one tends to like just disappear after we do this, so don't worry about that. What we're going to do now is we're going to slip our hook into the next stitch here. So, I mean, we're going to put our hook into our first stitch here. So, put your hook into the first stitch and realize how bright this is. Okay. So, we're going to do a single crochet stitch now. So, we'll do that. And then you're going to want to do the number of stitches that it tells you to do. But this is calling for an increasing stitch. So we did a single crochet stitch. For an increasing stitch, what you want to do is put your hook back into that same stitch we just used. Okay? And then we're going to do another single crochet stitch. So we pretty much did 2 single crochet stitches in 1 stitch. Okay? And that's an increasing stitch. So you take 1 stitch and you're increasing it by 2 stitches. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to complete the rest of the increased stitches. And then I'll come back in and show you how to close the round. But yeah, let's do another increasing stitch. So stick your hook into the next stitch. We're going to do an increasing stitch, which is basically 2 single crochet stitches in 1 stitch. So 1 single crochet stitch, stick your hook into that same stitch, and do the second single crochet stitch. Okay, so now we have another 2 single crochet stitches in 1 stitch. So right now you should have 4 single crochet stitches. Let's do this one more time with you guys. Let me get some more feeder yarn here. All right, into the next stitch, put in your hook. We're gonna do a increasing stitch. So do 1 single crochet stitch, go into that same stitch we just used, and do another single crochet stitch. So in this stitch here we have 2 single crochet stitches coming out. You should now have 6 single crochet stitches altogether. Now at my own pace, I'm gonna do the rest of my stitches. Let me just, I have a tangle. My memory is a little bad with the materials, so hopefully you don't have a tangle. But I feel like sometimes there would be tangles. But yeah, I'm just gonna do this real quick. And then we're gonna move on. Okay. All right, so let me just remove this marker. So what we're going to do now is, again, count the number of stitches that is required for this round. We're going to stick our hook into that stitch. Now I'm going to show you guys again how to do a slip stitch. So yarn over, and we're going to pull through all the loops off your hook. So slip stitch is very simple, and it closes off the ring. Now we have 2 individual rounds that you can see nice and clear. Okay, I'm just going to mark this last stitch we made so I know where I am. This is going to be for round 3. So let's do round 3 now. We're going to chain 1. Okay, then we're going to do a single crochet stitch. So put your hook into the first stitch here and do your single crochet stitch. Okay, then it says to do an increasing stitch, so do your increasing stitch. Now if you see those 2 instructions are in brackets. Brackets means that you're going to be repeating the same instruction however many times it says. So I'll just do it 2 more times with you guys, and then I'm going to finish the rest on my own. So in the next stitch we're going to do a single crochet stitch. In the next one we're going to do an increasing stitch. Alright, one more time with you guys. In the first stitch I'm going to do a single crochet stitch. In the next stitch we're going to be doing an increasing stitch. Alright, so like I said, just repeat it the number of times that it's asking you to do, and then I'm going to show you one more time how to do a slip stitch. Remove your marker. Alright, so from here, again, count back from the hook the number of required stitches for this round, and then I'm going to show you how to do a slip stitch one more time. Alright, so we're going to yarn over, and you're going to pull through all loops off the hook to make a slip stitch. Right, so hopefully by now you're comfortable with doing the slip stitch. I'm going to be moving forward with each round. If you need to go back and see it, you can definitely go back and check that out. But we are going to do now round 4. So we have to do our chain 1 for the height, and then we're going to do, did I show you how to do this 3 times already? 1, 2, I guess I didn't. Let me show you how to do a chain stitch one more time. So yarn over, we're going to pull that through the loop for chain 1, and that's just to make sure everyone has it. You know, there might be someone out there that doesn't. All right, we did the chain 1. So in brackets now we have our single crochet stitches and increasing stitches. So you know what that is. We have to repeat it however many times it tells us to, and then we're going to do a slip stitch. Okay, so into that first stitch, put in your hook, and we're going to be doing our single crochet stitches. Then we're going to be doing our increasing stitch. Right, pardon the noise if you can hear it. This is a small apartment, so there's not much hiding. All right, so we did that once. Repeat it as many times as the instruction says. All right, remove the marker. Count back the number of required stitches for this round. Okay, and then we're going to do our slip stitch. So now we have our individual rounds. I love doing it this way. You would be surprised at how many kits don't do that, and it's such a habit. I accidentally do it in those kits, but yeah. All right, so this is going to indicate that we do round 5, and just for practice's sake, it's the same instruction for round 6. So I am going to grab another marker. So let's say I have to go answer the phone for a bit. This is going to remind me that it's round 5, same instructions. This one's going to be round 6, same instructions. So let's do our chain stitch. And then for this one, it's straightforward. It's all single crochet stitches, and then you're going to make sure you have the right counts, and we're going to close it with the slip stitch. So go into your first stitch here. And let's just do these single crochet stitches. Again, if you really need to see this, you can try slowing down the video. But this is basically the same stitches. So I think as long as you are comfortable with the single crochet stitch, you should be fine. You know, I would love to do step by step for everything, but the videos get a little too much when they're over 2 hours, and I'm hoping that I can actually get done to close than an hour. This is my second time doing it, so I did this maybe over a year ago, so I don't really remember, you know, the quirks. I know the head was a real nightmare, so buckle up. But usually when you do things second time around, it does come out better, so I'm expecting my panda to look a lot better than the first video. If you're on my original channel, you could always search through the crochet playlist. If you're on my new channel, it's not on there. So, alright. You're going to keep this marker here because you have to remind yourself that this is 5 and this one's going to be the 6th one. So go back and count to make sure you have the right number of stitches. and stick your hook into that stitch and do your slip stitch. Right? Then we're going to mark the last stitch we made. All right, and then if you can notice, your project is automatically curving. You want to make sure that the side with the excess piece is the concave side. It's curved in, so you can tuck this piece away, and that the other side has nothing. It has the nice rounds that you can see here. Okay, because sometimes it might just happen to curve that way. There's a possibility that yours is curving in this way, which isn't the right side. You don't want this to show, so you want to tuck this in to the head. All right, so now we're doing the 6th round. Again, same instructions. So we're going to stick our hook into the first stitch. And we're just going to go around like we did with the last round. Okay, since we've already completed these 2 rounds, you can now remove the markers. I'm going to count back the required stitches that we need for round 6, which is the same as 5. So after I count that, I'm going to do a slip stitch. Okay. And then we're going to put our marker back in place, the last stitch here. Now, I told you like it was cut off, so I'm just going to attach this to my spool here. That ever happens to you, you can just tie a flimsy knot. That's how they do it. This is how they tie it together, really. So, but just to make sure it doesn't pull out, because this will pull out, by the way. I'm just going to tie this to this side and tie this one onto this side. And I'm going to try hiding this knot inside the head when we get to that point. So if you ever have to break your yarn, or if there is a break in your yarn, as bad as that looks, just have it to where it's stuck and it won't slip out. And then we'll hide it in the project. Alright, so this indicates that we're doing round 7. So this, you guys, is where it gets interesting. So when you see red in these instructions, and I'm hoping that they're all the same, that means we're doing a different color. So get that color ready. It's a little tricky, and I hope I don't forget to switch, because I always forget to switch. Alright, so we're going to chain 1. Okay. Then we're going to do our single crochet stitches that it says. So I'm going to do all that with the exception of the last one. And I'm going to show you why. So into the first stitch, we're going to do our first single crochet stitch. Okay. So we have 1. Now in that black text before the red, do the rest of the single crochet stitches with the exception of the last one. So alright, so we did all the single crochet stitches with the exception of the last one. What I'm gonna do is, and I have a knot here, so that's scary. Alright, so I'm gonna pull this out. I can only stop here. If I were you, pull it out a lot, because we're gonna remove this hook and you don't want to lose this loop. So safer than sorry. If you don't have a knot like I do, pull it as far out as you can exaggeratingly can, but not too crazy, you know, maybe like that, this much. Because we're going to set this aside, and I accidentally pulled it, right? So, and I only have a little bit to work with, so that can happen. I can accidentally pull it, and it's gonna, you don't want to lose this. All right, set it aside. We are gonna grab the black that just fell. Okay. And I'm going to show you how to cast on your hook with the black. Oh, lefty. I keep forgetting. All right. So with your right hand, you want to take your ring, pinky, and thumb and just pinch the end of that black yarn here. Then you want to take your ring, middle and index, and just hold apart the yarn like this. So you want to grip this tight and this somewhat tight. Okay, we're going to take our hook and we're going to lay it perpendicular to the yarn like this to make a cross. Then what I'm going to do is we're going to go down with the hook, out and around to make a loop around our hook there, so you can slide this up and down. All right, slide your hook all the way down to the thumb right there. Take your middle finger here. We're just going to place this where it crosses so that I can let go of my right hand, like that. I need to gather up some feeder yarn, just a little bit. Then I'm going to re-pinch the end with my middle finger and thumb as low as I can possibly get without losing the yarn. And I'm going to continue to slide down my hook closer to my thumb, like that. So where it crosses, take your thumb and middle finger and just pinch where it crosses there so that you can no longer slide your hook up and down. We're going to do a yarn over, and we're going to pull this strand through the loop like this. Okay, so now what we're going to do, we have a little knot here and I want to tighten it, but I like to not waste too much yarn. So re-pinch your end of your yarn here, don't lose it. We're going to push the knot towards the thumb. So take your index and thumb and push it towards your other thumb. This is going to make your knot smaller. You want to keep pushing until that knot can no longer be pushed towards the thumb. Either it's really butt up against my nail like this, or if there's no more slack and it's a knot, it's a tight knot. Well, not a tight knot, but it's a snug knot. So from this point here, you just want to make sure that it's a little bit more snug, you know. So take your thumb and your middle finger. We're going to pull this little end piece here, pull it out. You're going to feel a little pull on the knot. You don't have to go too crazy. You see how my yarn grew a little bit? But we're just trying to make that knot nice and snug so we don't lose it. So from here, you can grab your knot and you can grab your feeder yarn. We're going to pull the knot close to the hook like this. You want to make sure you leave some space here because we're going to slip the hook out. Try not to lose this now. Be very careful. We're going to set this aside for now. I'm going to pick back up our project, stick the hook back into that large loop. We're going to pull on the feeder yarn to make it more manageable. Alright, and then I'm going to gather up some feeder yarn. So we have that one more single crochet left to do. This is where we're going to change to black. So we're going to do a single crochet stitch, but go slow, step by step with me. You're going to put your hook into the next stitch. We're going to start our single crochet stitch, so yarn over, pull up a loop. So now we have 2 loops on our hook. So you're going to remove the feeder yarn off your finger. We're going to go ahead and grab the black and slip that onto our hook. You can wrap this black feeder yarn now around your finger, and we're going to slip this loop through the 2 loops here, just like that. So if you can see, we completed a single crochet stitch that's entirely white, and then we have our loop that's black because the next set of instructions is for black single crochet stitches. So again, we're going to do the number of single crochet stitches minus 1 in black. So since we're going to use the white again, you don't have to cut it off. We're going to leave the white here, just make sure it's out of your way. Alright, so let's do our single crochet stitch with the black. Okay, love it. Alright, now we minus 1. We have 1 single crochet left to do. So again, stick your hook into the next stitch. We're going to yarn over with the black, and we're going to pull up a loop, so we have 2 loops. Now we're going to let go of the feeder yarn and drop it. We're going to pick up the white, and I have this terrible knot here, so I'm going to try to not use and try to hide it. So you're going to yarn over, and you're going to pull through 2 loops with the white, just like that. So we completed the number of single crochet stitches in black, and now we have the loop that starts with white. So the next set of instructions tells you to do single crochet stitches, so we're going to go do that in white, minus 1 single crochet stitch. So let's do that. I pulled some of that fray. I want to keep that fray inside the head and not poking out. Where is this? Oh, here it is. Yeah, you want it nice and clean. So if you do have a manufacturer's knot, you want to make sure you pull that away. Alright, so we have to do 1 more single crochet stitch in the white, and then again I'm going to show you how to transition to the black. Stick your hook into the next stitch. We're going to yarn over, you're going to pull up a loop so that we have 2 loops onto our hook, drop the feeder yarn, pick up the black yarn, and we're going to yarn over and pull through those 2 loops with the black. So we completed our last single crochet stitch in the white and our loop to start the black. Alright, so now again, do your number of single crochet stitches minus 1. Stick your hook into the next stitch, do your single crochet stitch, and then we're going to do it again. Stick your hook into the next stitch, yarn over with the black, pull up a loop, and now we have 2 loops. We're going to drop the feeder yarn, pick up the white, and then we're going to yarn over, and we're going to pull through both loops with the white, and we've transitioned to the white while completing a black single crochet stitch. Alright, so now you guys, from here we are just going to continue the rest of the way and do a slip stitch. So let me just gather up some feeder yarn, and we're going to complete the rest of this. All right, I'm going to remove the marker. We're gonna count back the number of stitches required for round 7 and then do a slip stitch. We're going to put our marker into the last stitch we made, and then we're going to do round 8. Okay, so it looks like round 8 and 9 are going to be the same instructions, and it's the complicated one, so maybe I'll walk through both of them with you as I show again 3 times how to do something new. And what's new is the transition rows with the white and black. So this is for round 8. We're going to get another marker for round 9. Okay, we're going to chain 1 for the height, and then we're going to do our single crochet stitches -1. So into the first stitch, do your single crochet stitches -1. All right, now that we're here, we're going to do one more single crochet stitch in the white, but we're going to do part of it. So into the next stitch, put your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, drop your white. I don't know why I gathered all this feeder yarn. Okay, go grab your black. Now we are pulling from quite a ways here. See how far apart the eyes are? When you pull, don't pull too much. You don't want that at all, because that pinches the face and it's going to look bad. In order to make sure you have enough to go around, what I would do is just line it. Wait, first I'm going to gather some feeder yarn around my finger. Okay, you can just line it with your hand right around the perimeter. You can also give it a little bit of slack too. So I lined it butt up against the face, and I'm going to actually pull a little bit more in to make sure I have more than enough, because once we stuff this thing, it's going to push your head out, and you want to make sure that you have enough. So I have all this slack going on there. All right, but we're going to yarn over, and you're going to pull through both loops to complete the last white single crochet stitch and the new loop with the black. Okay, so now we're going to move on with the black. You see how there's a lot here to work with. So even though it gets messy, but at least, you know, you make sure that it's not going to look funny in the end when there's not enough slack in that. All right, so now we're going to do the black single crochet stitches, and you should complete the number of stitches -1 like we did. And you know what? I'm a bad counter. Okay, I did 1 extra. Yep. So don't mind me, continue where you left off. You probably counted right. I didn't count right, so I'm just going to remove 1. And again, like I showed you, if you're removing a certain number, you want to pull slowly. I'm actually going to do that like it never happened. Okay, so do your single crochet stitches in the black -1 stitch. Oh, -1. So now we're doing the last black one. So put your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, so you have 2 loops, drop the black, pick up the white, yarn over with the white, pull through both black loops, and now we're ready to do our white single crochet stitches. So do that -1. Okay, so doing the last one now, you're going to stick your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop so that you have 2 loops here, drop the white, pick up the black. We're going to yarn over and pull through both loops with the black. So we've completed the last white single crochet stitch, and now we're going to start with the black. So do the number of black single crochet stitches -1. Okay, then for the last black single crochet stick your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, drop the feeder yarn, pick up the white, and again you want to make sure that you give yourself some slack. So yarn over and pull through both loops with the white. So we've completed the black single crochet stitches, and now we're going to move on with the white, and we're going to do the remaining single crochet stitches. All right, we're not going to remove the marker because this one stands for 8. We have to add the 9th one. So from here, we're going to count back the number of stitches required for round 9, which essentially should be the same as round 8. Okay. And this is also a good way to check if you have the right number of stitches. Okay, slip stitch, put on the last, put the marker on the last stitch you made. And we're going to do round 9. So same instructions, and this will be the 3rd time I show you transitions, but actually that's the last for this head, so we don't have to worry about changing color after this. So I'll also show you how to cut it off. Alright, do your chain stitch, stick your hook into the first stitch, and we're going to do our single crochet stitch. We're actually again going to do all of the single crochet stitches in white for this first part -1. Alright, so for our last single crochet stitch in white, stick your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, drop your feeder yarn. Let's pick up the black, and again you're going to want to trail it along the edge here, but you also want to make sure you give yourself a little bit of slack so that, you know, just in case you don't want it pulling. Alright, so we're going to yarn over and pull through both loops with the black. So we've completed our last single crochet stitch in white and ready to do black. From here we're going to do the black single crochet stitches in this next piece -1. All right, and for the last single crochet stitch, stick your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, drop the black, pick up the white, yarn over with the white, make sure you give yourself some slack on this side, pull through both loops with the white, and then we're going to continue with the white single crochet stitches minus 1. So for the last white single crochet stitch, put in your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, drop the white, pick up the black. We're going to yarn over, make sure you have the slack there. We're going to yarn over, pull through both loops with the black, and now we're going to continue the black single crochet stitches minus 1. Okay, then for the last black single crochet stitch, put in your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, drop the black, pick up the white. Now this is the last time we're using black in this head, so I'm going to finish this single crochet stitch with the white here. So yarn over, pull through both loops with the white. Now, like I said last time with the black, let's let go of the feeder yarn here. We're going to take this and we're just going to cut it off. So take about an inch or so, and what you want to do, since we have all this fun stuff over here, you can just tie this, make a knot around one of the little excess pieces. All right, oh, that didn't work out. Okay, tie a knot. And I'm going to actually do another knot, so I'm doing 2 knots because you want to make sure that you don't lose your stitches. And make sure they're secure. Okay, and then you can just tuck in the excess piece in the back there. But we are done with the black for the head. So now I'm just going to continue with the white. And for the rest of this instruction, single crochet stitches. Wow, very night and day. If you saw the other video, I was dead lost. Okay, we can remove the markers here. I'm so happy. This is a lot easier than the first time. Count the number of stitches required for round 9 and do a slip stitch. Okay. So from here, grab a marker, slip it under the last stitch you made, and now we can do round 10. So for round 10, chain 1, and then this one actually is not so bad. So just finish those single crochet stitches. We're going to go into the first stitch here. Okay. And then just complete the rest of the row. So again, I'm using my own materials. The Crafter Square yarn, it's not of the best quality, but it's definitely skinnier than what I'm using. So your project is going to be smaller than mine. I get that sometimes with these kits because I don't have them and I use my own materials. So if you're wondering why mine looks different, I am using thicker yarn, and this isn't even the thickest yarn. So I tried to find something that wasn't too thick, but I pretty much just use what I have. So when you're done with this panda, keep the instructions, and you can always refer back to my video whenever you can. Just save it to your save playlist, watch later playlist, or whatever playlist you want to save it to. And guys, you can make your panda be any color you want. You like pink? Make it pink. You could do like a Lisa Frank one and make it multiple colors. The variations are endless. The only thing that you would need to get is the eyes. I don't put the eyes, I sew them, but you know what? Because it's going to be black on black, I don't want to use the same material. I'm going to use the eyes because I actually save, even though I don't use them, I saved all my eyes. So, but we'll get to that point later. Alright, remove the marker, count the number of stitches required for round 10, and then we're going to move on to 11. Alright, put in your marker at the last stitch you made. Then round 11. So this is where it's going to get interesting again. So just when you were getting comfortable with increasing stitches and color transitions, we are now going to do decreasing stitches. Which are kind of fun sometimes, but not when the hole gets smaller, because then I get frustrated. Because, you know, you have to, you know, fit your hand in here. But anyway, chain stitch. Okay. So we're going to do, we have brackets. We're going to do our single crochet stitches first. So put your hook into the first stitch here. We're going to do our single crochet stitches. All right. So now let me teach you how to do a decreasing stitch. A decreasing stitch is basically taking 2 stitches and turning it into 1. So what you're going to do is stick your hook into the first stitch. You're going to yarn over and pull up a loop. So you have 2 loops on your hook. Then you're going to go into the next stitch, the second stitch here. We're going to yarn over and you're going to pull up another loop. So now you have 3 loops on your hook. Then we're going to yarn over and you're going to pull through all 3 loops. So we turned 2 stitches into the 1. So since we have this in brackets, we're going to repeat this the number of times. So let me show you 2 more times how to do the decreasing stitch when I get there. So repeat the bracket. Right, then we're going to do a decreasing stitch. Just double check. Okay, so we're going to take these 2 stitches and we're going to turn it into 1. Stick your hook into the next stitch here. We're going to yarn over and pull up a loop. Then we're going to stick our hook into the next stitch. We're going to yarn over and pull up another loop. So now we have 3 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. So we took 2 stitches and turned it into 1. So let me show this to you guys one more time. Let's repeat the bracket. Alright, so when we do a decreasing stitch, it's taking these 2 stitches and turning it into 1. So stick your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, then we're going to go into the next stitch, yarn over, and pull up a loop. So now we have 3 loops on the hook. We're going to yarn over and you're going to pull through all 3 loops. So we took the 2 stitches and made it into 1. So now you can remove this marker, count back the number of stitches required for this round. And we're going to do our slip stitch. And we're going to remark the last stitch we made. All right. So let's do one more round, and then it says to do the eyes and stuffing. I think it's a good place to stop. So do your chain. Now complete your brackets. All right, we've done these. It's the single crochet stitches with the decreasing stitch. So let's do that now. Put your hook into the first stitch and start your bracket. All right, so from here you can remove the marker. We're going to count back the number of stitches required for round 12. And then we're going to close off the round. It gets really tiny, so now would be the time to put this stuff in. I'm going to re-put the mark at the last stitch we made to indicate our last round. All right, so from here, you guys, I'm going to pull a large loop. Now I can do it because I have no knot. See what I mean by over exaggerated? We're not losing this one. And I did that because I don't want my hook to be in the way. My hands are small, but it still gets in the way. So if you have big hands, you're better off doing that. Okay, let me find some eyes. Right, I have some here. So just take the eyes out. Alright, there's illustrations, I would hope, to where you're supposed to stick the eyes. It's been a while, so maybe not. Alright, well, yeah, no. But what you could do is check out the photo. Alright, and it looks like it's kind of in the center, but more towards down there. But just looking at this at a glance, this looks like a nice hole. See, like it says, put an eye in me. Alright, so I'm gonna put an eye. Stick your eye through that hole there. Okay, you can flip this inside out so you can see this better. I never know which way these are supposed to go. If it's supposed to go like that, but I'm gonna put it like that. And you just push down, you're gonna hear it click a few times. If they're good, they'll stay. If they're flimsy, they won't. So, you let me know. But, yeah, try to put it as low as possible. And then we're gonna take the other eye, and you wanna make sure you put it in a similar location so that they're even Steven. Flip it over, put the backing on this. I've seen people like blow dry this clothes too. I don't even know if that works, but whatever. So now we have the eyes on here. I'm gonna go and grab my stuffing. So I have some here. Let's see how much I'm gonna need. Obviously you want to put enough to your likeness of firmness. I don't know. I just grabbed some and putting the whole thing in there. And you want to make sure that I pushed the eyeball up. You want to make sure that that backing pierces the stuffing so that it's not flipping up when you push the stuffing in, if that makes any sense. And it's clearly doing that. Okay. Alright. Let's see. It's a cone-shaped head. Maybe just a little more. You can see I could probably fit just a little bit more. Okay. So now we're going to put back our hook. Let's move this out of the way. Put back our hook. This last part is going to be terrible. The smaller the hole gets, the harder it is to work with your project. So, but let's do this thing. So for round 13, we're pretty much doing decreasing stitches all the way around. So that's why it's going to be difficult. You want to do your chain, insert your hook into the first stitch here, and start your decreasing stitch. And you want to make sure that your yarn overs aren't too, like this loop, you don't want it to be too big. It's going to be tough to maintain a small loop because naturally you're going to want to pull it in order to like fit everything, but so that there's not any gaps, try to make this loop not too big. So Oops. Okay. Remove the marker. Count the number of stitches required, and then we're going to do a slip stitch. Okay, so this is how tiny it is, so do not wait to put your stuffing. But yeah, so from here, now the idea is, let me just check ahead for the body. If you see the body instructions and it continues at round 14, that means we're not tying this off. That I learned the hard way. All right, so making the body, it's clearly round 1. So we are not going to continue with this. So what we're gonna do is cut this off. Now the idea is we're gonna have to sew this head onto the body. So tough part is they don't really tell you how much yarn you need. In the past they would say 5 inches. I have my own yarn, so obviously I'm gonna do more than that, but maybe 5 inches. But these kits generally don't give you enough material, so it's the unfortunate part. Now we're gonna fasten off. So to fasten off, we're gonna yarn over. You're gonna pull that through the loop, and you're gonna pull it all the way out. And we're just gonna pull to make the knot tighter. And eventually we're going to sew this closed, or sew it to the body so you won't see that. But here is the panda head. All right, so we're already at an hour 30 maybe. So I might make this a part of, maybe I'll do the body. We'll see how far we get. But yeah. All right. Let's set this aside and let's do the body. I might actually run out of yarn. Look at that. If I do, I'm just gonna have to find a different kind of white. Alright, now I get to show you how to do a magic ring again. Second time. So, take your right hand, take your yarn here. We're gonna wrap it around 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. A little bit of overage so that we can put our middle finger on it. Now we can take this time to straighten out our strands. If they're too loose, you can tighten them up a little bit. But now we're going to take our hook and slip it underneath 3 strands. I'm going to pull this one underneath those 2 by twisting the hook sideways to slip it underneath the strands here. And then we're going to yarn over. And I'm going to pull this strand through the loop. And now I'm going to let go of my middle finger and slip off these rings off my index. And then we're going to start the panda body. Alright, do your chain. And then we're going to do the single crochet stitches required for round 1. Okay, again from here, we're going to hold the bottom, gently hold the bottom of our stitches. We're going to pull this excess piece. We're going to see which one of these loops go in first. Once you've identified that, you can stop pulling. And then we're going to pull the bottom part out of that loop, not from up here, but down here. So take that loop and slowly pull out the bottom. You're going to see the other loop start to disappear. So you're going to keep pulling until that loop is completely inside the magic ring. Okay. You might still have a little hole. That's okay, because now we're going to pull the excess piece and make this loop disappear. So pull until that is gone into the magic ring. You might have a tiny hole left, but what you can do is pull in the opposite direction. Opposite direction and a little up, maybe a 45-degree angle, and pull it a little bit. You're going to feel a little give, but you don't need to pull it too tight. But when you're done, your hole is going to be completely gone. So now that we close the magic ring, we just have to close the round by counting back the number of stitches required for round 1. And we're going to stick our hook in there, and we're going to do our slip stitch. And then we're going to slip our marker through the last stitch we made. And now we can start round 2. This is for round 2. All right, so for round 2, we have our chain stitch. And then we're going to be doing our increasing stitches. So stick your hook into the first stitch here. And then we're going to stick our hook back into that first stitch to do our increasing stitch. Even though I showed you this 3 times, we'll just do the first one together. And then you're going to be repeating this around the whole thing. Oops. Right, we can remove the marker. And then we're going to count back our stitches and do a slip stitch. Put your marker back. Now we're going to do round 3. So for round 3, we have chain 1, and then we have our brackets to do single crochet stitches and increasing stitches a number of times, and then we'll do a slip stitch. So stick your hook into the first stitch, and let's start our bracket. Okay, remove the marker, count back your stitches, and then do a slip stitch. I think my stitches are getting tighter. Okay, so this is going to be for round 4. Now, actually, we need to get more markers because we're going to do this for the next few rounds. So make sure you get enough markers for the amount of rounds you need, and we're going to be repeating the same instructions that many times, so it's going to be fairly simple. The hard part is going to be keeping track of the rounds. So that's why I say that it's very important to get these stitch markers. That way you can make your life easier, and you know that you have to repeat it until these pieces are gone. So what I'm going to do now is just complete these in silence, and I am going to go my own speed. So you can always pause it here or click the gear button to slow down the video. But yeah, let's get this done. Alright, so we've completed round 8. We're going to do round 9, but we have to transition to black. And the text is in black this time. So the consistency is not there on these instructions. Alright, so let's do a round 9. Chain 1, and then we have our bracket of instructions. This time we're going to be doing our single crochet stitches with the decreasing stitch and repeat it as many times as they tell you to. So this is something that we've already done, so I'm just gonna go start the brackets, and then I'm gonna when we finish the round, before you slip stitch, I need to show you how to do the transition with the slip stitch. So it's going to be slightly different from what we were doing before. But this is good timing because I am running out of white yarn. And I think from here on out, we're just using the black yarn, I believe. So... Okay, I'm going to remove the marker. Now, before we do we counter stitches and do a slip stitch, I am going to over exaggerate this loop here because I have to prepare my black yarn. So like we did before, I'm going to show you this to you again. How to cast on with a slip stitch. So pinky, ring finger, thumb, hold one end, index and middle, hold apart the other. We're going to lay our hook perpendicular to the yarn, and then we're going to go down, out, and around to create this loop around the hook. You can slide it up and down here. Take your middle finger, and we're going to slide this down to next to our thumb and hold it where it crosses, because we have to let go of our right. We're going to gather up some feeder yarn here, repinch the end with your middle finger and thumb. Make sure not to let go. We're going to slide our hook closer to our thumb, and where it crosses, we're just going to pinch it with our thumb and middle finger so that you can no longer slide it up or down. Then we're going to do a yarn over, and we're going to slip through the loop, creating a knot right here. Repinch the end, try not to lose it, but we're going to push this knot towards our right thumb. So you want to keep pushing the knot down till it's either too tight to push or till it gets to the thumb. And then what we're going to do from here is use our thumb and middle finger to pull that excess piece out to tighten up that knot just a little bit more. You don't have to go too crazy about it, but you can see that I pulled out just a little bit more, making this knot nice and snug. I'm going to grab the knot, grab the feeder yarn here, and we're going to pull the knot closer to the hook, but we want to make sure we leave some space. So we're going to slide this out, set aside your black yarn, try not to lose that loop, but we're going to pick up our project again, slip our hook back into that overly large loop, pull, to make that loop more manageable. Alright, so now we're going to go in and count our stitches. So let's do that now. Alright, stick your hook into the number of stitches, that last number of stitches required for round 9. Alright, so we are not going to slip stitch with the white. We're going to go drop this. We're going to pick up the black, slip that onto our hook, gather up some feeder yarn, and we're going to use the black to pull through all the loops off the hook to do a slip stitch. And I'm going to mark the last stitch we made, which is in that white. And then we're going to cut off about an inch or so of the white. And we're going to tie it around the black because we really don't have anything else to tie it to. So when you do this, you don't want to tie too tightly the first time. So make a knot. And again, we just need it to secure. So I'm leaving a little gap because I don't want to keep pulling on this. But I'm going to double knot this now. Okay. And then we're going to tuck in the end piece. And then we can continue with our black yarn. Now, for the next 2 rounds, for the next 2 and last, actually, we are going to do our stitches. This is going to be an easy one. So chain 1, put your hook into the first stitch here, and let's complete round 10. Alright, so this second time around, you guys, this panda is a lot. It had been over a year, but I can still remember some of the heartache I had making the panda. So I'm really glad that this time around it's not that difficult. But I'm sure if you're a first timer, especially a beginner, this is going to be difficult, but keep at it. Just keep practicing. Not everyone's going to get it at the first chance. Not everyone's going to even make it after the first round. Okay, so let me just gather up some more yarn here. But, you know, don't beat yourself up if that's the case, because you can always set your project down for a while and come back later, a few hours, a few days, weeks, months even, just so you can get like a less frustrated and a fresher look on it. Okay, then we're going to count the number of stitches and do our slip stitch. Just going to tighten this loop a little bit. Okay, and with this black yarn, it's really hard to see the stitches, so you're just going to have to rely on your project to kind of hopefully follow along. And then we're going to complete round 11 into the first stitch. Getting more yarn here. it looks like we might be just doing the head and body for the first video, and then we'll come back in and do the next one. I might drop both of them the same day, but I'm definitely going to try to drop the knit kit the same day as one of these, because I really, you know, this was just a backlog video and I really need to get it done. Alright, so now we can remove these markers, and it looks like this is it for the rounds. So I'm going to count my stitches and do a slip stitch. Okay, I am going to cut some. Again, you can probably do 5 inches or so on yours. But to fasten off, you do a yarn over. You're going to pull through the loop and pull all the way out. Then tighten this up. We're now just going to stuff this real quick so that we can end this part 1, and then the next video we're going to be doing the hands, the ears, the nose, and the feet. Just getting more of this stuffing here. Okay. Try to fit just a little bit more since this is the body. So this is, I think, the top part, so we're going to be sewing this to the head. I'm not too sure how that's going to go. And now that I'm thinking about it, because I didn't look ahead, we probably didn't need this long tail, but we can just tuck that in. Let's just put this in here, because I don't want like too big of a head compared to the body. But yeah, so here we have our body, here we have our head. So if you can imagine what we got going on right now. But anyway, so thank you so much, you guys, for watching. When we come into part 2, like I said, we're going to be doing the hands, the ears, the nose, the legs, and we're going to sew it all together. But this is already almost 2 hours, so I don't want to make it any longer than that. At any rate, thank you guys so much for watching. Again, go check out my special giveaway. I'll leave the info in the description box below. And then, yeah, I'll see you again next time. Thank you so much, you guys, for watching. This is
Isms by Josie.
Please share, like, and subscribe for future videos. And I'll see you again next time. Thanks. Bye.